Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about solving multi-step equations. In order to be able to solve equations using multi-step equations, we need to be able to use more than one operation. We have some steps that we want to follow. So step one is we want to simplify using the distributive property. Step two, we want to add like terms. Step three is to make sure our variable is on one side of the equation. Step four is to isolate our variable using addition and subtraction. And step five is to isolate our variable using multiplication or division. If you follow these 5 steps, you will get every single problem correct. So let's go ahead and apply this to a couple problems here. So our first problem right here, I want to draw a line right down my equal sign. And remember, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the opposite of subtracting 6. So I'm going to add 6 on both sides. When I do that, I'm left with 2a. 18 plus 6 is 24. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and I say divide by 2 on both sides. And then I say a equals 12. At that point, I have my variable isolated, so I'm all done. So your final answer is a equals 12. Let's go ahead and try our next problem. Draw a line right down our equal sign. First step I'm going to take is to add 4 on both sides. That leaves me with 2/5 x equals -4. If I'm multiplying by a fraction on both sides, or on one side, I just undo that by multiplying by its reciprocal. On the left side, I'm left with x. -4 times 5 is -20. -20 divided by 2 is -10. My variable is isolated, so I'm done with that problem. Start this one off by drawing a line right down my equal sign. I have everything is being divided by a -2, so my first step is to undo that. If it's all being divided by -2, I'm going to multiply everything by -2. On the left side, that leaves me with -22. On the right side, I'm left with 5 plus m. Notice, all it did was cancel out the -2's. Now, I need to get rid of that 5, so the opposite of a positive 5 is a -5. -22 minus 5 is -27. And I'm left with m on the right side. My variable is isolated, so I am all done with the problem. Next up, I'm going to draw another line right down my equal sign here. At this point, I know that I have to distribute that 3. So I say 3 times x, and 3 times 7 is 21. That still equals -30. Now I got to get x by itself here, so I'm going to first subtract 21 on both sides. I'm left with 3x on the left side. -30 minus 21 is going to be -51. If you use your calculator, that's what it'll tell you. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. and I get x equals negative 17. I'm all done with that problem, so I can move on. It says if f of x equals negative 6x plus 8, find x when f of x equals 35. So the thing I want you to notice here, this whole thing right here is equal to f of x. 35 is also equal to f of x. Because they are both equal to f of x, these two things have to be equal to each other. So I can actually write it like that. I say negative 6x plus 8 has to be equal to 35. Now, once I have that, I just solve the problem out like a normal problem. So my first step is going to be to subtract 8 on both sides. That leaves me with negative 6x on the left side. 35 minus 8 is going to be positive 27. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6. And when I do that, I'm left with x equals 27 divided by negative 6. I don't know that off the top of my head, so I'm actually going to use my calculator to help me out here. And if you have a graphing calculator, I'm going to show you how to do this. So to do this, I say 27. It's going to be divided by, so I'm going to use the divided by key on the right-hand side there. And negative 6. The negative symbol is right underneath the 3. Now, when I do that, I press enter, I get a decimal. I don't want a decimal as my answer. I want an actual simplified fraction. So the button I'm going to press is the math key on the left-hand side. So I'm going to press math. And the very first option says fraction. That is what I want. So I press enter. Now I press enter one more time. And it's negative 9 over 2 is my answer. So negative 9 over 2. My variable is simplified, so I'm all done with this problem. We got one more problem to go, so let's go ahead and look at that. It says Angela rented a car for $29.99 a day plus a one-time insurance cost of $5. Her bill was $124.96. How many days did Angela have the car? Write an equation and solve. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what my actual question was. So to do that, I actually like to highlight what my question is. It says it asks, how many days did Angela have the car? Write an equation and solve. So while that part is important, I know I'm trying to write an equation and solve. So I'm going to cross that off because I don't really need to know that anymore. It says Angela rented a car for $29.99. Sorry about that. Angela rented a car for $29.99 a day plus a one-time insurance cost of $5. Her bill was $124.96. So altogether, her bill was $124.96. Now, we don't know how many days she rented it, so we're going to say it was $29.99 per day. I'm going to call that D for day, plus a one-time fee of $5. And we're trying to figure out how many days she had the car, so I'm going to go ahead and solve this equation. My first thing that I'm going to do, subtract 5 on both sides. When I do that, I am left with 119.96 on the left side and 29.99 D on the right side. My next step is simply going to be dividing by 29.99 on both sides. Now, if you don't know what that is, you can use your calculator to help you out here. Hold on one second, my calculator is not being friendly. And when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and press 119.96. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on my calculator. And when I type that operation in, I get that 4 equals D. So I know that Angela had the car for 4 days. That should cover everything for us today. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day.